Hello, today I'm going to say you something about the topic entitled How Being Brilliant Can Harm the Truth. Well, there is no maybe intelligence or a genius isn't, or high capacity isn't a bad thing if it comes to philosophy or any intellectual activity of human, but and even there is no such thing like being too intelligent or something like that when it comes to intellectual activity, but at the same time being too witty or too brilliant may harm the truth and may be bad when it comes in discussing. Well, it's all about how we use our intellectual abilities, and brilliant so witty talk, witty discussing can be a bad tool because we know there is something like heuristics and sophistical arguments. So if you are brighter, you can on the one hand you can be more inquisitive, but on the other hand you can be less you can be dishonest in a more intelligent manner. So being witty isn't really always a good thing. And now I want to show you an example of how wittiness how it could contribute to how it can contribute to a discussion which is an antithesis of philosophical dialectical fight, which is an antithesis of real dialogue, like known for instance from an ideal example of dialogues known from Platon's dialogues. So an example is, let's say that everyone in discussion group has an assumption that there are two facts, two states of things. Let's say A occurs and then B occurs, and A occurs firstly, B occurs secondly, and there is a relation between A and B is a causation between A and B, and A causes B. So an antagonist of some people who might have common view on this causation can, with some wit, come up with an argument that when A occurs, then it doesn't necessarily mean that B occurs only only because A occurs firstly, and some of them can it can cause them to think that, wow, what a witty argument, I haven't thought about it like that so far. Wow, it's really great, but the fact is that they doesn't really assume that A is after A causes B only because B is after A, and there are two ways to, well, when someone can when there is a thought that there is like that we assume that A causes B not only because B is after A. They could explain to the opponent, to the person who attack their assumption, either the way, first way is they could patiently explain that the assumption has some stronger grounds that he try to just show them, or they could, in equally brilliant way, make some make a counter argument, which is like, well, if you say that if B is after A, that doesn't mean that A causes B. That doesn't mean that we really think that if B is after A, that A causes B. Yeah. So, but it could be not understood under some strong emotions which are influenced by this strong witty statement, and the thing is that there's really hard to make a proper equally witty argument after hearing witty argument, because listeners will be too too absorbed by this first witty argument. So the second witty argument could be not so really well understood. That this could be understood better on the writing, when there is some distance and we can think longer about what was said, but not on live discussion, especially TV or some show when there is a huge audience, and the audience is like when like on Colosseum when everyone can show thumb down and thumb up. People are in some way animals. They are too irrational to think that the argument or the statement is stronger than a thousand of thumb ups to them. And there is it's a proof that being witty can be sometimes a kind of eristical behavior. So as I said, if the truth is more important to you than just being brilliant, it's sometimes better to just be not too brilliant, not too witty, and not making jokes, because joking can bring you some sympathy from the audience, and the audience can after that start to support you more, and with audience you are automatically stronger. When everyone's laugh, they don't hear your second statement, and the other justification of what I'm saying, that's justification of why being too witty isn't sometimes too good, is that if you're the person with which you discuss isn't really too comprehensive to understand really deeply your witty statement, and well, it's also the kind of being anxious about being in discussion. The emotion influence his reasoning ability, and after that he can't calmly start to think about what you've said, and just you, after argumenting with some weakness, close his mouth, and that's not good in discussion. Mouth should be open. Well, of course, there is an assumption that his will is good. It's rarely a case that both you have a good will in discussion and your only interest is a truth, but on the other hand, it's not a proper justification just to be as bad as your mate in discussion. So everything you should do is to be brilliant with some mm, with some not too brilliant everywhere, every time. Thank you for your thank you for listening.